Yeah.
Because I can't ring you this time.
Is it connected? Yeah, we are. We're live. Okay. Hi. Good morning, all. Welcome to my channel. So look what we got here.
How you going, everyone?
We got Steve from FJ Camping and Touring. So Steve's up in Bundaberg, good old Central Coast Bundy, for the weekend.
Yep.
A couple extra days. Because you might have noticed he's been putting out a bit of a hint of late on some of the projects. Hang on, guys. Let me go in the middle here. My wide angle camera is making me look bigger than I am. So we don't want that. Now, that camera's overexposed. Let me just set this up, guys. Just bear with me. We are live. I hope this is working for you.
I can see it on my phone.
Are we on?
Yeah,
Can you see the comments?
that's what I'm just logging in.
Okay.
Got two people on.
Two people on.
So
Sweet.
if someone can comment and just let us know whether it's working.
Yeah, what's the quality like? Are we good? Because I'm in the garage, guys, so I've got my phone outside, hotspot to it. So, Steve, a while back, asked if I could help him out with his new 12-volt setup. So you might have seen some hints that he's been showing of late on his vehicle. So Steve arrived here 2 days ago, and on Friday, so today's Sunday, so we started this yesterday, and we worked on it for about 14 hours.
Yeah, it was
All up.
it was a big day.
It was a very big day. We were knackered, guys. We were absolutely knackered last night. So 14 hours.
Troy Berg's on.
Hey, how you going, Troy? And this is what we've accomplished so far in 14 hours. So the 12-volt aspect is almost finished. Now, what Steve's building here is somewhat very similar setup to what's in my Pajero. And we've managed to fit quite a lot into a compact box here. So obviously Steve made this box up here, and I'll show you the inside shortly, how he's designed that. It's absolutely wonderful. So Steve's got a new battery, of course, and he's going, some of you have probably recognised this. So this is from Andrew St. Pierre White and Heinz Creation, which is the Egon DC hub. Yep, check this out, guys. With the nice, hang on, is that focusing now? My camera's set to automatically focus on faces. So if I put something in front of it, so that's the Egon DC hub, multi-input output power distributor. So it's a very fancy power distributor. It simplifies setup so much. Basically, just about everything is running through this here. So it minimises a lot of cable lugs, a lot of crimps, and so etc. So you can see we got some of the main cables here already installed for the Renogy 50 amp DC-DC, and we're using this nice thick cable, which is 65mm square cable. I'm using 95mm in my vehicle, but for Steve this is going to be more than plenty. I mean, this 65 would have been more than enough for my vehicle as well, but as always, I always say, I like to up the size of the cable by 1 or 2 at least. That way it actually future-proofs me as well, because I mean, when I did my Victron gear setup, there's a lot of cables there. I did not have to upgrade because I had already upgraded them to 2-3 times the, what I needed capacity to handle. So we've probably got a fairly big cables here for the Renogy DC-DC. So that's going to charge us 50 amps. And you're also getting a new battery.
Yep, I've got a 200 amp hour battery down behind us. You can probably just see it there,
Yeah,
there
see?
in your finger.
Yep. So that's a 200 amp hour lithium battery, guys. So now, we basically, yesterday, we did all these components installed. There's more in the inside here. There's lots of cables. So the 12 volt aspect is just about ready to go. So all we need to do is, we've got this, Steve's got a couple of USB 12 volt sockets here. So these are going to be fed through into, these are all your input, outputs, fridges, lights, USB outputs, etc. So we got 10 along here, and you'll see here we got fuses, so we can individually fuse all them. We got fuses as well here. So when it comes to the DC-DC hub, it all wires into this. So now we've got this cable here. It's got a bit of the red on it. It comes from here, comes from the output, and it goes into this input here, which then goes through this system and runs through these two cables here, okay, the positive, which then makes its way to the battery. So we've got a 150 amp fuse right here to protect the Egon DC hub. So this is rated at 150 amps. So you can have 150 amps load on here, and you will not hurt this. And in fact, you can go much higher. If you go and have a look at Andrew St. Pierre's YouTube channel, he's got some videos that are hidden in there somewhere. But if you go to the Egon DC hub, you'll find it there easily, where they're testing this at much higher capacity than 150 amps, and it's past it. So it's all quality, German engineered, made in Australia. So yeah, they are at a price, but I'll tell you what, I don't think, if Steve didn't rock up with this today, I don't think we'd have this of what we have accomplished here in 14 hours. So it may not look a lot, guys, but all these cables, to get all these cables, we cut the cables, I've put all the lugs on, etc. So I've got a hydraulic crimp, the whole works, and put all that on. And yeah, I mean, it's just simplified this so much that I don't think the weekend would be enough time to put a whole component together of what you see here. Now Steve's also got, you probably can see a bit of it, guys. He's got, check this out guys, that is a Renogy inverter charger, okay, that is very similar to what my Multiplus is, in some ways, but not always, very similar. So yeah, it's 240 volt as well, guys, so it's got a 240 volt charger in it. Now the 240 volt aspect, obviously, as per my vehicle, that needs to be done by a certified electrician and needs to be passed. Now we do have the go-ahead, and this is the same when I did mine to help keep the costs down. We do have the go-ahead. We've spoken to electricians, so we know where the fuses are going to go. Okay, so we're going to mount all that in, and basically we'll have the conduits all ready. And then when Steve goes home, he's going to have his electrician to connect all the fuses together, to put all the connections on, okay, because we've got a double pole switch, which I can show you shortly. We'll turn this around, I'll show you. It's all on this side here, the layout. So we've got a double pole output switch. So you've got to have a double pole as per regulations. We've got the conduit, so all the 240 volt cables will go inside the conduit. So we got the go ahead, guys, to do that, okay? But then it's going to be certified by a proper electrician, and he's going to do the final connections and all the tests. So what I'm doing here is we're doing all the layout here. We're deciding where all the layouts here. Now you might think this looks a bit messy. Steve, you want to grab that little bit of this is going to be all hidden, okay? You won't see any of these cables. So I haven't completely finished this yet. But a good way when you're making stuff like this 240 volt, and you don't want to look like a spaghetti mass, is you can buy these square, I don't know what you call them guys, you can buy these square, okay, and you go to your local 240 volt electrical distributor store, and you can buy these, and that's going to cover like that, okay, so they clamp in, so that'll be covered. So it'll give you an idea what this is going to look like, guys. So it's going to be nice and tidy. Now, even though this is not really going to, this section won't be too visible in Steve's vehicle, because it's going to be sort of at the back, hidden a little bit behind this fridge. We're still going to make it all nice and tidy. You can see I've already got one here.
How you going, Rob?
Is that Rob on?
Rob the Wanderer.
Oh, hey, hello, Rob. How are you? So I hope you're all finding this interesting. So now, this is a beauty. I don't know if you can see here, we've got bare strands of cable. So we don't have to put any lugs or any crimping on here, which is potential for more resistance to happen. The more lugs, the more crimping you got to put on, the more potential you'll have for resistance and heat. And that's a big enemy in the 12 volt industry. So that's why we're using bigger cables than we really need to. In all places, I've gone as big as I can, as you can see. Probably overdone it like I always do, but that's how I design things. That way the cables stay cool to the touch. And it's all to do with the fuse, okay? Just got to fuse it correctly, and that will protect the board, etc. So what happens is, if there's too much heat comes through here, okay, the cable's not going to be affected by the heat because that fuse will blow well and truly before it gets to anywhere near that rating of that cable. So this is going inside a vehicle. So I don't know about you guys, I don't want to take chances, so I up the size on all this and fuse correctly. I've wired it in such a way to minimize as much as possible, because we're looking at potential high amperages going through here. So this can operate very similar to my Victron gear. Steve will be able to run a coffee machine, he'll be able to run an air fryer, he'll be able to run a toaster through this, similar to what I run on my system. So he's got a 200 amp hour lithium, which is rated at continuous. What are they rated at?
Oh, it was 190 or something, wasn't
190.
it? 95 or something?
Yeah, we're not too sure. You need to check that. So that's rated 195 continuous discharge, which matches perfectly with this 2000 watt Renogy. What do they call it again?
Inverter charger.
Inverter charger. So that is rated 2000 watts. It's got a 65 amp electric charger built into it as well. Mine's 80, this one's 65 amps. So when it plugs into, say example, household internet at home, he can charge this at 65 amps. It's also got the inverter in there, which then he'll be able to charge a lot of his camera batteries, etc., run on 240 volt. And if he wishes later on, he can go and buy a cheap induction cooktop and even use that if he wishes. So, and then this is going to take care of the DC-DC charging at 50 amps per hour, okay, this one here, and it's also got an MPPT solar regulator. So Steve's got a permanent solar panel hooked up on his roof. So what we're going to do, we're going to look into, this is the output, so everything goes through this DC hub, okay, everything, all there except for the 240 volt aspect, that's separate. So we've got a battery positive cable that goes to a fuse, which is 250 amps, and then that goes to a main switch. So I've got one main switch that is rated to what, 500 amps.
Yeah, something like that,
And that one main switch will turn everything off, shuts down everything. So when Steve wants to do maintenance anywhere here, you just switch that off, and that's readily accessible right here. So we'll turn this around and show you what we've done on the inside here. So that's all readily available there. So I'm not running more than the one switch because as far as I know, a lot of you people probably don't agree with the way I work with these things, the way I set them up. But I've been doing this for 6 years on my own vehicle, as well as other people's camper trailers. I've been helping out as well. And guys, I'm willing to help people. I don't charge anyone. I'm willing to help people who need advice or anything like this. Steve's come down here. He's made the effort to drive all this way. I'm not charging him. He's a buddy of mine, so I don't charge friends this type of work. For me, for me, this is like a bit of a hobby. I enjoy fiddling around with stuff like this. So it helps the time go by. So we got this connection. We got the bare wires here. So I'm actually going to...
the Wanderer's just asked about the battery. I actually haven't used it yet, Rob, because we haven't set it up. The battery comes in a sort of only about a 30% charge, so I had to charge it up, and it actually goes into a sleep mode after 24 hours if it doesn't detect any current going in or out, and it goes back to sleep again. And all you got to do to wake it up is you disconnect any sort of power source that more than 1 amp, and it'll wake the battery back up again, and away you go. It's fully Bluetooth compatible, so there's an app on the phone that you can connect into the battery and see what the battery is doing. It tells you the temperature of the battery, it tells you how much solar is going in, all the stuff. So that was one of the reasons I went with the Renogy brand, because the MPT is Bluetooth compatible, the battery is Bluetooth compatible, the inverter charger is Bluetooth compatible, so they're all made and synced with each other. The inverter charger is fairly big and probably a bit overkill, but I really wanted that 60 amp 240 charging as well, so that if I'm at home and get cloudy weather or whatever and I need to charge the battery up, I can just plug it into 240, or if we're travelling and we happen to stay at a caravan park or something like that and we need a bit more power, I can plug it into shore power. So
there we are, guys. I've got the first cable. So that's all we need to do.
It's pretty simple. This one, like I think Andrew said, as long as you know a red and a black wire.
If you know the difference between a red-black wire, guys, even if you think you don't know anything about electrical 12 volt, you can wire one of these up. It's that simple.
Because it does tell you on all these circuit boards, It's got a plus and a minus. It tells you, it says the name of what cord you got to put in there. So it says house battery, start battery, solar input, solar output, unregulated solar. It tells you everything.
Now we've got provisions to put each of the fuses, and we use those blade fuses. Do you know where the boxes are so we can show you? Now, Roadtech Marine, guys, if you've got a Roadtech Marine nearby, you can buy these kits, and it's got every fuse that you could possibly would want to use in this thing here, right there. So we're probably going to put a 10 amp fuse in there. Now, these are also brilliant. The Egon DC Hub are brilliant for fault finding as well. There's a little light on here. If you ever at any stage see any of these red light comes on, that means you've blown a fuse. So it'll tell you which fuse, what component is actually has blown. It shows you all that on here. So let me try to simplify exactly how this works. So basically, you've got a distribution box here where everything connects to it, including your DC-DC charger, including the positive and the negative that runs from your car battery, that normally runs to your DC-DC charger, okay? That's going to run into here as well. So when we mount this into Steve's vehicle, he's positive and negative that runs from the front of the car are going to mount into these two lugs here. Alright, so these are all joined together. So all these ones here, these four you see here, are to do with the DC-DC hub. So we've got one for the battery that's linked to the battery. Normally this cable here, you see that runs through here, okay, runs through there. That's the one that normally connects to the, I think it's a positive, yeah, it's red there. The positive on your house battery, okay, which is the lithium battery there, alright. This one, the black one right next to it, which again normally will run to an earthing point on your vehicle. It's earthed through the DC hub as well. This one here is your, hang on, where's this one go? Runs through. I can't see what it says.
One's the alternator.
That was the alternator input. That's right.
Yep.
So you got your output there. Yes. So that normally will come from your car. Okay, the positive from the car will connect to there. But how we've done it here, the positive of the car is coming through, connecting to here. Alright, that's the input. So that connects into here. So comes, feeds through the car, feeds through here. Power goes through here. Okay, input's there, comes the output here, it comes into here, and that goes through here. So all the charging is done in here. And there's a fuse there. So Steve's got a 50 amp, so we're going to put a 60 amp fuse in here, and we're also going to fuse it at the battery, which you should always do when you're dealing with DC-DC hubs. Luckily, Steve thought he had a smart, maybe someone who knows anything about, what year is that vehicle?
2014.
2014 FJ Cruiser. Steve thought it had a smart alternator on it, and I thought, oh, that's going to be fun. Then there's a separate wire.
Hi Danny, how you going, mate?
When you use a smart alternator, a DC-DC hub will only operate above a certain voltage, which I believe this one is 13.2. When I looked at the specs, 13.2. So unless 13.2 or plus voltage goes into this, it will not activate, it will not turn on. So for your conventional cars with the standard alternators, you're going to have no problems, which is my car. If you've got one with the smart alternator, you need another little cable that plugs into this side, and you've got to find a point on a car that comes live when you turn the accessory, when you turn the ignition on. So then that gives it power, and then that wakes it up. And then when you turn it off, it gives it takes the power off and wakes this off. Because the problem with the smart alternator cars is they run on a much lower voltage. You don't have that high voltages from your battery when you first turn them on. And so the high voltage is not enough to activate these. Now, I don't think that's a smart alternator.
We tested it yesterday, and as soon as we turned the car on, it was nearly 14 volts.
Yeah. I got the multimeter and tested it a few times throughout the day, and every time we turned the car and ran on, it's 14 volts. And what also gives me another hint that it's not a smart alternator, because Steve had a auto electrician wire in the radar 1225D, and it's still wired in his car, so luckily he didn't take it off. So I slowly dismantled it yesterday, and the live wire for the smart alternator is not connected to the vehicle. So the auto electrician has set this up as a standard alternator, not a smart alternator. But hey guys, we're going to find out later when I test it. When I turn it on, I'm going to first test it by using solar panel. And we'll probably, actually, no, we probably can't, we won't have a proper earth. I was going to say I could probably test it on the bench, but we need that main earth, this one here, that needs to connect through here, so we won't do that. It's got to be in the vehicle. just to earth it properly. So that's how the DC-DC works. It all runs in this. So what it does, not only simplifies it, guys, it makes it easier to troubleshoot, and you can't go wrong with which cable goes where, because it shows you on here, and they give you a book as well that shows you. And if you got any of the famous ones, when I say famous, they're probably the more common, like RedArc and so on, they've got videos and showing you how to connect these on. So you don't need to add any cables or anything. The RedArc DC-DC chargers already have the cables in them. This one didn't have the cables, so it took some time. I had to decipher exactly. Steve can vouch with you how many times I went over this and double-checked and triple-checked.
We did, yeah.
We spent a fair bit of time on this yesterday because I searched on the internet. There's no indication, no record of anyone connecting one of the Renogy through to the Egon DC hub. So I went through and studied every PowerPoint, and I put them in, double checked it, as soon as that one's right, put it in, and then went through again. So I'm now very confident that this is all wired up as it should be, and in hindsight, really, it was pretty simple, guys. It was pretty simple to do in hindsight now. So that's how that works. These are the two cables that feed through into the battery. Okay, actually the switch. So the red is fed through the switch, which is right on the other side here. So basically somewhere, no, it's over here, sorry. The switch is right here. So we've got this cable running through here, through there. This is the main battery one that goes through, and it's feeding right through there. So I've got the fuse for this Egon DC hub here. 12, 24, like cigarette lighter socket, USB, all on this side. So this is pretty much finished. We're just going to have to wire in also, this has got a built-in MPPT solar regulator, guys, in that as well, which is Steve's going to use to connect to his solar panel, 160 watt, 12 volt solar panels on top of his roof rack. They're going to be a permanent connection. So they don't connect onto this, guys, they connect through this. Because this cable here, you can see this earthing colour on here, that's the solar. Okay, that's the solar input. So it's input out, so it's connected to the PV, so there's a PV bus there. So if you're connecting the solar, it'll go, the positive will go straight to there, and the negative will go to a grounding point. Okay, which is, the grounding point is, where's the grounding point? Which one is it? Right here, is that the grounding point?
That's the negative.
Yep, right there. Yep, so that's the grounding point there. So we would have negative there. But again, it's connected into here, okay? So that's the solar input here, and these two is the solar output. So we've got unregulated solar input, not the output, that's the input. So that's your solar panels, unregulated, because remember it's got a regulator built into here, so you must make sure you use unregulated solar input on these two. So we've got a positive and a negative. So we can run a short cable here and have an Anderson plug, run it through here, run through this conduit, can come out the side here, up here or down here, wherever, and put an Anderson plug in there, and then he'll plug into that. Now, the unique feature with this, guys, I did some research, and Steve actually came by this in the past, and I double checked it last night as well, we watched a video, is that this one here, as far as we believe, if you're interested with this Renogy 50 amp DC-DC, it's got one major fault with it, guys. It's not a real major issue, really. It's easy enough to rectify, but it's something you should be aware of if you're looking at this. Okay, so I mentioned it's got 50 amp DC-DC capabilities. Okay, if you use this while it's connected to a solar panel, like in Steve's case, he's got the permanent solar panel on his roof, it's going to half this. I don't know why it does it, guys. It's just a unique feature to this one. It'll drop it down, it'll only charge at 25 amps. Now when you got a 200 amp hour battery there, and you got a 50 amp hour DC, you're going to want to, charge that battery at 50 amps. I don't know about you. Yeah, I'm sure you don't want to charge it at 25 amps.
No, that's why I've gone bigger.
Yeah.
Landy Smurf just asked me what was I running before. I actually had a 100 amp hour lithium slimline battery, but I decided it just wasn't big enough for when we were travelling around, like with the fridge running as a freezer all the time and running travel buddies and things like that. I was finding, and if you had a few days of cloudy weather, the battery just wasn't keeping up enough, so that's why I've gone this way and gone bigger. So hopefully it'll do what I want it to do. I'm pretty sure it will. Done a bit of research on it, but really looking forward to testing it out and letting you all know how it's going.
Basically what Steve's got here is a cheaper version of what I've got. Now I've got some unique features on mine that you won't get anywhere else. It's only with the Victrons, which is multi-plus, okay? But this is a shitload cheaper than what I've got. I mean, guys, in my case, I've had help with these equipment. Okay, I've got them at good prices because of through my YouTube channel. So I don't buy recommended retail price on a lot of my stuff. I get them at a good discount at times, and some of the gear is given to me as well. And I'm sure Steve will have some opportunity as well. But this offhand, this stuff is really well priced to what you get.
It is. It's more of a, when I looked into it, I bought most of this off Amazon, and it was really quick delivery and all that, and it was really reasonably priced. And I bought it at times when they had sales on. So if you get on there, you'll find that you can pick them up at like 10% off or 15%
Actually,
off.
I saw last night Renogy's own Australian website have got a big sale on all of their Renogy gear. So now guys, this is the first time I've set up a Renogy gear. So I haven't tested it yet, but sure I can assure you we will test it soon. Now I think we're going to put a 10 amp fuse in here so you can see 15. So all colour coded. There's a 10 amp.
Freddie Boots.
So there's a 10 amp fuse that's going in.
It's a Ergon or Egon DC hub, EGON DC hub. It's made by Perth Electronics in Western Australia, and it's affiliated with Andrew St Pierre.
Now it's not cheap, guys. It's not cheap.
It was probably one of the dearest components in.
But remember, with this, if you know the difference between a red and black, you can wire up your own 12-volt system. With a bit of common sense, with a bit of common sense, you can wire it up. So it might sound like you might get a shock when you go online and see the price of this, guys. But take an effect that this is designed for the average handyman to do this himself and do it properly, okay? Because it's not easy finding an auto electrician. Sorry, auto electricians. There's not many yous out there that'll do a proper job. And if you do, and it's factored in by the price, you can tell if you find a good auto electrician that does a proper job, because guys, it takes time. You'd be amazed how long it takes to sort all this out, wire it properly, get the crimps done properly. You saw how long it took.
The thing I was going to say there before too, if you were to go out and buy the Red Arc, what's that one they have, the big system where you have the screen and that in it?
Turbo GX?
No, the Red Arc one. It's similar to this.
Oh, the Red Arc BMS 30 or something?
And it has this switchboard where you can connect all these wires and run all your lights and all that. It's like $2,500, and that's nowhere near this. This is under $1,000.
And what I like about this is the components are separate, guys. So if this goes, Steve would be able to pop, 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 pop. Literally 1, 2, 3, 4 screws here, couple screws here, take that off, replace another one. Simple as that. You know, like all these, fault finding, easy finding. Now there's all provisions on here. We've got to buy some cable ties today. You can see here I've got cable ties. So it's set up for the forward driving industry. Now, getting back to auto electricians, it's not easy finding an auto electrician that really specialises in doing this properly. I've seen a lot of shonky work, guys, particularly around here where I live. I'm sorry if there's any of you here that lives in the local area here. Please contact me and let me know who you are, so I might be able to advise your service. But to be frank, guys, I have not found an auto electrician that I would trust. So that's part of the reason 5-6 years ago I've learnt how to do all this myself, because I had a lot of shonky work done. So then I didn't know much about this stuff 5 years ago. I knew shit about it. But I did know a fair bit about computers, because I do build I was building custom built computers, etc. for my job. For businesses and so on, and setting up networking and that. So I've got a pretty idea on electronics and building and all these boards and these studs and how these are laid out and tensions and so on. So all this I had a pretty good idea. So that's why as soon as I heard about this, I went for it. And for me, I think it's a great investment. But for a lot of you guys, the money you pay for this, and if you're fairly handyman, you know the difference between the red and the black. Okay, and you've got some common sense, you're going to have a 12-volt system. It's going to be cheaper. This will probably end up being cheaper than just the labour alone for a decent auto electrician. Because to find a decent auto electrician to do this, it's going to take time. If you got someone that says I can do this within half a day or a day, run away. Run away. That's the advice I give.
That other thing was Red Vision.
Red Vision.
It's called Red Vision.
Vision.
It's a circuit board like this.
Yeah.
And it has all the wiring in it, but it's thousands.
Yeah. That's that new one, the updated one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how's the comments going here?
Oh, a few people just asking about the battery. Freddie Boots.
Hey, there's Annie.
Yeah, Annie's on here too.
Hello, Winnie. Hello, Winnie.
I left Annie and Winnie at home in Kingaroy, so I've been camping at Phil's place.
What do you reckon, Annie? I hope you're happy with this. Where's that cover on the top? When this is finished, you're not going to see any of these wiring, but this will be... Yeah, I know this will be behind your chair, but don't worry, you're not going to get fried.
It's actually got a cover over it. I haven't pulled
Oh, okay, this is cover here. Yeah, this actually is a protected cover over here, and it's a clear perspex that'll go over the top. Guys, so if you're thinking that this is all accessible, no, it's not. So it's covered. But there's a cover over here as well. There he is, that one on the table. That big one.
Yeah, we showed him that.
Yeah, goes to show. Has Annie seen this? So this is going to be covered, guys. So I need to cut it short. So this clips in place like so. So you can see it's going to be nice and neat.
And I have also, if anyone's wondering, we've also got a battery monitor, an external one that we can plug in as well. That'll plug into the we've got a shunt down there.
What do we comments have got?
So we'll have a screen for that as well. So should be a good system, I think. Phil's just reading the comments there. So I reckon it's going to be 30 degrees here today, so hopefully we get this all done. And
mate, Steve got here, Trev Cully, Steve got here Friday at 1 o'clock. We had enough time to quickly go over his vehicle, see what extra parts we need, and even then we didn't get everything we needed, so we had to go back in town again yesterday morning. Steve got here at 1 o'clock. We ran in town and we had to rush trying to get everything we needed, and I had to come home 2:30, have a shower, and then I had to go uptown and shoot a prom, photos for a prom for my niece's daughter. Because I used to be a photographer, I used to do a lot of wedding photography and so on. So Steve was my offsider. He carried my camera bag.
So I was helping him out.
So I was
Hey, Trevor.
taking prom photos, and we finished at about 5:30. And so we came home, we were knackered by the time that happened, so we just ordered pizza, and we had Pizza Hut pizzas. We got up about, 4 or 5 o'clock yesterday morning,
Yep.
and we were started by about 5:30. And 8:30, 9 o'clock we had to go uptown and get the rest of the stuff. And we had leftover pizzas. And then we did not walk out of this garage until 8 p.m. last night.
I think it was a bit after that.
Was it? 8:30.
8:30 or something, yeah.
So I had not had a chance to even poor Steve make him a coffee yet.
Yeah, he's meant to make me a bloody, what is it,
A latte macchiato.
Yeah, latte macchiato. I'm looking forward to it. I haven't had any morning coffee.
This is how good it is. If Keith, you're watching, you can verify it. He was here the other day, just before. Was Keith here when you arrived?
Yeah, they were sitting down having coffee and never offered me one.
Yeah, because we had to leave straight. We're going to make some time to make him one today.
I'll show him Terry's tiles.
Yeah, if you want to, yeah, go grab Terry's tiles. So, it's just been flat out, guys. I mean, I shouldn't be here right now talking to you guys. We should be working on this because we've still got a fair bit of work left to do, and I want to try to finish it today by a reasonable time, ideally before lunch if we can, so we can have a bit of a relaxing time and go check out some stuff around Bundy. That's the idea, hey Steve?
Yeah. So yesterday we had a visit from Terry G.
Yeah, Terry rocked up.
And
hang on, before that, I want to talk about, sorry, Keith. The cafe latte macchiato, okay? I've got that coffee machine. You know that coffee machine I got? I made one for Keith. And he loved it. But I thought he was just saying, oh yeah, just didn't want to hurt my feelings. But I know now he absolutely loves it because he sent me a message last night and he said, Phil, he said, I went out today and bought the same coffee machine that you've got so I can make that latte cafe macchiato exactly the way that you made it. So guys, I know 100%. And you should see it. You should see the photo of it. So yeah, and I'm gonna make one for Steve soon. So don't be surprised if he ends up wanting to buy one of these coffee machines. Sorry, it's not my fault. After he tries it. How'd you get me one?
So someone just asked me a question. Yes, I have got some Bundy rum.
Oh yeah, a choice of drinks today, and we're going to have one shortly, okay, is the famous old Bundy rum bought at the Bundy Rum Distillery. I already had these drinks in the car. It's not like we had time to go and look for any drinks. So I did that prom shoot, and the photos turned out awesome, which I'm happy because I was a little bit nervous. But once I was there, my old thinking job, everything just came back to me head, and I knew exactly what to do, the posing, everything, no problems at all. So yeah, the photos turned out awesome. Because my poor little niece's the cheapest photographer she could find was $500 just for a few photos. $500. So she asked if I could do it. I said yes, I can do that, no problems at all. So that's what I did.
Someone just asked how long Jamie Fulton. Just going to be, hopefully, I've got to be back at work on Tuesday, so I'll head home tomorrow. So we're hoping to have this done if I can get him off this live feed.
Yeah, guys, that's what I said before. I wasn't planning on being here this long. We've still got a fair bit of work, but I want to show you what we've got done on the other side here, so we might clear the bench off and pick this up and put it on top of there.
Before we do that, I'll just
oh yeah, so Terry, Terry.
Terry.
Hey Terry, how you going? Terry came and visited us yesterday, and poor bugger, he was sitting there trying to talk when we got our heads down on the... so we just continued the job while he was here.
Sorry it was a bit boring for you, mate, but he made me up some, as you know, Terry does those beautiful chopping boards, the ones that I won't use because I don't want to damage it. But I will use it, Terry, and put it in a cooking thing. Thanks very much, mate.
That's a comment.
And,
Can I have a look?
He had to buy a new machine because he had a little bit of an accident with his old one, with his laser cutter. And he's got into some other stuff now, and he bought me over a little bit of a present. And dropped them off yesterday, and I tell you what, they're absolutely fantastic. I was gobsmacked, mate. I really appreciate it. You're a top bloke, and if anyone's got a business or whatever, I think Terry said he can do some of these for you, but he's made all these up. Have a look at that. Hopefully it focuses. It's got my FJ Camping Touring logo on it. And
Cover my face, try it again.
I think it focused.
Because it'll go a bit closer. Is that focusing?
Yeah, it's focused now, so they're all little tiles. And he's got little rubber feet on the back of them, and he's got the FJ Camping Touring logo on them. So they're actually little, basically stubby holders that you can have in your house or in your kitchen or whatever, coffee cup things. And he's got a few of them in here. They're all different colours, green, blue, red. So, absolutely awesome, mate. You're a top bloke, and I really appreciate that. We'll have to catch up and go on a bit of a camping trip with you, and you can cook me up that, what was it, apple?
Terry's famous, oh guys, you haven't seen it yet. Terry cooked up a surprise dessert while we were camping a couple of weeks ago.
I'll tell you what, guys,
yep.
Make sure you watch this video because Phil sent it to me once he got it all uploaded and rendered, and I watched it the other day. It's an absolute hoot. The guys must have had a few of these under their wings because they look like the bunch of four-wheel drive 24/7 guys in a cooking class, and I'm glad they didn't have any bloody chicken or anything that they wanted to stuff because I would have lost it. It was a really good time. They looked like they had a great time, and that's what it's all about, all this gear. Being able to go out and enjoy your camping and whatever. And the apple crumble they did cook up, they didn't actually use any 12 volt or anything, or 240 volt. It was all done in a camp oven over charcoal.
Yeah.
So.
And that's all coming up soon. I'm going to release a video sometime today, which is the video before the one Steve just talked about. And that's cooking honey and soy chicken out camping. I think it's a honey and soy chicken. Yeah.
And that's with the Powerpole battery, isn't it?
Yeah, that's with the Powerpole battery. And the next one after that, which will probably be released in another 2 or 3 days, is how to make Terry's famous apple cobbler. That's what it's called now, cobbler dessert. I didn't know what it was. All I knew is it had apple and ice cream with it, which I thought that sounded awesome, great, because I like apples and I like ice cream. So I had no idea, even up to the point where he had everything laid out on the table and I saw these ingredients. I got no idea what it was. But I'll tell you what, as soon as I got home, I went to the local groceries and bought the ingredients for it, planning to cook it for Steve. But boy, guys, because Steve's on a limited time, we have to get this done. This is our priority. This is why he came here. This got to be finished. So we won't go too long in this video, guys. I want to try to finish this, well, hopefully by lunch today. I think we're pushing it now. It might need to be faced around the other way. Steve's strong today. Hang on.
Spin it around this way.
Yeah, I want you to show the layout, what we did here. So I'll move the camera. Wanderer, hang on, I'll sit down so you can see. Thanks for that tip, Wanderer. So we might have to, when we go uptown and get this stuff we need, Steve, we'll go in your car. Because Wanda says, my Ranger has a smart alternator. Go for a drive for 20 minutes and then check the voltage. Mine drops down once the alternator has been running for about 20 minutes.
Yeah, I mean the wire's no problem. I'm going to connect it up anyway because it does. Yeah. They did say on one of the videos we watched, just make sure you do connect this wire up anyway, regardless. So it's basically just getting your multimeter and finding a ignition source in the car, which won't be too hard.
You reckon we'll just wire it in anyway?
Yeah, we'll just wire it in anyway,
just to make sure. Okay, have a gander at this, guys. I hope I don't lose the signal.
So just go back a little bit again, Phil.
No, let them have a close-up look at this. They've seen their face long enough. Hey, I'm still here. Alright, battery's going to sit in here. We've got the shunt here. So we've got a very short cable run between the negative to the shunt. I advised Steve one day we'll get a copper bar and replace this short cable. You want to get the short cable? And so I made all these up. So these are all made up by me.
I'll actually over here, Phil was showing me something yesterday.
Okay, can you see that? These are the lugs I made. Okay, 65mm cable. Alright, so it's going to go from there to there, and that will run to the, alright, straight to the shunt. Okay, to the battery side, and all the loads go off here. So, like so. Now, it doesn't look like it, guys. Actually, it just fooled me then, because there's supposed to be two cables running off here, and I'm thinking, hang on, we haven't put the second cable in. But what we've done, guys, is we drill a hole just on this other side here, and there's a lug, there's a cable that goes right through on the other side, and that's going through to the DC hub.
And that's the positive.
Yeah. So that's the positive that goes to the battery terminal. So we've got a 250 amp fuse here, we've got a cover here.
I just thought I'd show you that, Phil.
Yeah, okay.
Just to give them a bit of point of view. Phil was showing me this yesterday. This is before he knew about doing crimping and all his electrical stuff.
Making my own cables.
Making his own cables. He used to buy his cables. That one cable there, which is only very light, 30 bucks.
My crimper?
So that was 30 bucks on its own. So you can see all these cables we've done. There's a lot of money there if you're paying someone else to do it or buying them. So Phil's got a great big crimper. I tied it up here this morning for him.
So I use this hydraulic crimper, guys. Okay, that's the crimper. I use this. You need these big, heavy-duty, purpose-built cutters to cut into, particularly when you're dealing into cables that are 120mm square, 95mm square, 50mm square. Guys, you're not going to cut that with pliers.
See you, Wanderer.
So this is like a hydraulic thing, so I use that. So I've got the tools here built up over the year, and yeah, I don't know, Steve, you mentioned before when I started, I used to buy these cables, and this here was $30. It's still got the price on it, guys. For this short cable, I was charged 30 bucks to make this. Now I can make them for next to nothing. So you can see there, one of the cables that I got away with not had to use. Now, we're going to change this layout. So there's the main switch. On, off.
Yeah, Annie, there is we are putting in an ejection seat on this so that we know you're sitting in front of it. So the radiation's not too bad though. We'll put some shielding on it for you.
We're going to relocate this. We've got there's a fuse box. This is going to be done by an electrician wiring this up. There's a fuse box going in here with the fuses for the input, the output. So that's the input, this is the output, double pole. all these are within specification ratings. This is going to be relocated elsewhere, and we're going to put the screen here. Okay, and that's it. So guys, basically all we got left to do shortly is just put a couple of Anderson plugs on here, connect on here, and then move this into the vehicle, put the battery in, mount the inverter in here, connect it all up,
and hook up the
and then we are done.
Hook up the positive and negative off the
positive and negative off the car that goes through to the Egon DC hub here. So we haven't got a lot to do today. So yeah. Alright, so we're going to call it at that, because well, I want to get this done today.
Yeah, when I do a full walkthrough, I'll do a video on my YouTube channel, so I'll let you all know about the parts and everything like that, and what we've actually used, and
see?
A bit of cost. I think the biggest thing that I found, apart from the initial purchase of all the major equipment, is just the little stuff that adds up, like just the little lugs and wiring and zip ties and all that sort of thing, the stuff that you don't think about until you get to the job. So that's why we've been running up in town picking up extra things all the time, haven't we?
Yeah, we didn't get everything that we needed yesterday. Oh, and this is so the fuses are protected as well, guys. So this is the cover that will go over the fuse. You can see that. So you get this cover here. Okay. There's nothing exposed. So that'll cover there. And that just clips in and clips out. So this is going to be relocated over this way more. This will be relocated to another spot. Yeah.
Someone just said they would have hooked up me 240 for free if they were in Bundy, but I appreciate that.
Oh man, where are you?
No.
Oh. Are there any auto electricians from Bundy watching this? Are you free this Harvey?
Yeah.
Guys? I'm not kidding actually.
But
send us a message any way you can, either myself or Steve.
We'll plug your
it'll be free and awesome
for you.
If we can. Yeah, it'd be awesome if we can get this completed today in full and certified, if that's possible, guys. That'd be awesome. I don't know how many people in Bundy watch this, but how cool would that be if we can tee that up somehow today? Guys, it won't take you long, because I'm going to have the conduits in place for you to put the wire in. We've even got we've got everything you need, guys.
Yeah, I've got fuses.
We got the fuses. We got good quality Hager, same ones used in my vehicle. Everything's here, guys. Honestly, electrician, guys, it'll take you 10 minutes to do what you got to do. So yeah, that'd be awesome. If there's anyone who wants to do that, so we can get this 100% operational before
Darcy
before it
Crawley.
leaves.
Darcy Crawley's in Harvey Bay.
You see? Bummer. that's Harvey Bay is still fairly close, but probably a bit too far.
Yeah.
We wouldn't expect you to come all the way here from Harvey Bay to Bundaberg. So yeah. So how awesome would that be? Because you got regulations for 240, so you want to stick to the regulations, and for safety wise, and plus the electricians, they got those those RCBOs, whatever you call them. What do they call with the fuse? RCBOs.
You just add it. Oh, here.
RCBOs. So we've got RCBO.
Hi Luke, how you going Luke?
So they're 16 amps. So it's the input and the output. They're both the same. Conduit's already here. These guys are already mounted in place, guys. You just got to do your job, screwdriver, your live, your earth, your neutral, and you're done. So yeah, so if there's any takers out there, find somehow to contact us, let us know, the Savi, if it's possible. Alright, so I think that's it. Any other questions? We got to get going, guys. I want to get this done.
Yeah, it's getting away. It's nearly 9 o'clock.
Yeah, we have to go, guys. We got to go. So, thanks for joining in, eh? I'm glad this is working. Okay. So, I'm glad it's working. So I can see us here. We've got a good coverage here. So, guys, we're going to call it at that now.
Thanks everyone for tuning in. Don't forget to check out Phil's video on the apple cobbler. And
yeah, you're going to enjoy that, and there'll be another one coming out sometime today on cooking honey soy chicken.
And I'll have a few videos on this once I get it all up and running.
Yeah, Steve's working on a video. It's going to be an awesome video. So it's going to have the whole lot, everything in it. So he'll have that up when it's all finished working, operational. He'll run some tests. It'd be awesome to be able to run some tests. I mean, we'll be able to run the tests at 12 volt side. So all the 12 volt componentries, that's all going to be completed. So it's just the 240 volts that we just need someone to wire that up for him. That's an electrician. Yeah. Okay, guys. So till then, next time, eh? Look after yourself.
Cheers. Everyone.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye. Now we can turn this off. Hey, hang on. Before, wait a minute. Oh.
You ended up. Yeah.
Hang on. I can't remember how to turn. Here we go. I found how to turn it off. Okay. See ya.